Hey guys, welcome back, it's Neil, and as Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 are approaching, I want to make a video to get some of my ideas and theories off my chest. This might be the first video in a series of multiple videos in which I cover things that are Deltarune related that pertains to Chapter 3 and 4, and like theories and things we don't know yet. But this video in specific I think needs to come out first, because we have no idea when we're getting that trailer, so I gotta make this video and make sure it doesn't get outdated immediately. I've been putting off this video idea for a while, and I've always wanted to do it for like the better part of a year now, and it's what Spamton does to foreshadow Chapter 3 and 4. So, as y'all may or may not know, secret bosses in Deltarune tend to foreshadow something, at least is what we theorize. See, Jevil foreshadowed Queen and the Roaring, depending on if you beat him with pacifism or with violence. But Spamton, right now, we don't really know what Spamton foreshadows for sure. Except we do. We do. But it's not 100% concrete, because, I mean, the chapter is not out yet. But we can look and make some assumptions at what Spamton is alluding to in the future chapters. And I want to start with the big one. Mike. And by extension, Tenna. Mike and Tenna are what the community thinks is going to be the main antagonists of Chapter 3 and 4. Do we know this 100%? No, but it's likely. You see, Jevil foreshadowed Queen, which is the main villain of Chapter 2. So, realistically, and it would make a lot of sense if Spamton foreshadowed the Chapter 3 villain. And the person that Spamton tends to foreshadow most is Mike. We don't know who Mike is, but we do know a few things about Mike. First of all, from Spamton sweepstakes, we know that Mike is basically like maybe a friend, we think, to Spamton. Because when someone asks, when Ornstein on Twitter asks Spamton, who is Mike? Spamton replies with, blank you, are you one of that cathodes crew? You guys know nothing about Mike, nothing, and that's the way it's gonna stay. You leave him out of this. Okay, but we gotta take what Spamton's saying with a grain of salt, like everything that he says, in terms of characters, because Spamton is a bit of a, for lack of a better word, a tweaker. He's a tweaker.
Now you think to be a big shot.
I'm crazy, chat.
So really, even if he sees Mike in a good light, it might be the complete opposite. But if we're taking Spamton at face value here, it looks like Mike is a friend, or was a friend, of Spamton. I say was, possibly, because in the game, in the actual game, Spamton, when you ask him about friends, we don't need Mike, and then he pauses. So he could have paused and looked all depressed because maybe he misses Mike, or maybe Mike abandoned him. It looks like Mike is more of a friend that is no longer present with Spamton. Okay, maybe Spamton was in the Chapter 3 Dark World at some point. Well, what would be the Dark World, which is the Dreamer household. So maybe a spam email got Tutorial, Asgore, Azrael, or Chris at some point. In Dark World, if a Darkner that doesn't belong in that Dark World enters said Dark World, they turn to stone, like Rules Card and Lancer. But Rousey describes it as the theme of the Darkner. You gotta remember that. So maybe Spamton, being a spam email and like a businessman, he kind of fit in the Dark World. So maybe we could see the return of Spamton in Chapter 3 if you did his side quest, which would be really cool. Because a lot of people in Chapter 1 were complaining. Well, not complaining. There was a big kind of letdown that there was no Jevil, even in the inventory, like Lancer and Rules Card. Maybe this is Toby's way of bringing back the currently most beloved character in Deltarune, in my personal opinion. Circling back to that Spamton dialogue, though, I would like to bring up the easels and CRTs part. Just to see what Spamton's saying, because easels and CRTs, as y'all know, CRTs and easels are all things that are related to TVs. And as we know, the main theme of the Chapter 3 Dark World is TV themed. Anyways, this next point is a bit of a mixture of points. This is multiple points, just flash lesson. On the top left, you can see, to blank me over right at the good part, what are you, a game show host? On the top right, we don't need Mike. Bottom left, we have, he started bragging about big TV deals, big cars, big commercials, TV deals being highlighted. And on the bottom right, it says, Chris, don't believe anything you see on TV. The man's a criminal, I tell you, a criminal. Game show host is kind of suspicious because game shows are obviously shown on TV, right? TV deals, it's in the name, it's TV. Anything you see on TV, that's a saying. That's my favorite saying. When it comes to TV IRL, because it'll be like, yeah, don't believe anything you see on TV because you're not there. You can't really trust something that's not even in front of you. Maybe it's a bit of an outdated expression nowadays, but still. This also pertains to Spamton not trusting everyone that's related to TVs. And Cathode's crew, circling back to the first point, when he says Cathode's crew, a cathode is also related to TVs. I don't know what part of the TV is, I low-key forgot. Cathode's crew would imply that there's some TV crew or gang that's going on. In relation to Chapter 3, if you remember, like, way back, I think a year after Chapter 2 dropped, Toby gave us a few sneak peeks of Chapter 3, and there was the Shadowmen, which is like a mob. They're a mob-type Darkner that we're gonna have to fight. Kind of like the Rudins and the Werewires of that chapter. And I'm saying this because that kind of gives off a mob and gang theme of Chapter 3 already. Saying Cathode's crew, as well, implies that it's a TV-related mob, maybe. Whoever's running at the top is most likely like the host of the show or the head of the show. And as we know, Spamton says, what are you, a game show host? Like as if he's been screwed over by a game show host before. Which could also lead to maybe Mike being a game show host if he's a bad guy. Or better yet, who I'm about to bring up now, Tenna. I mentioned Tenna earlier in the video. Tenna is who I believe is going to be the main villain. I think Mike is going to be a supporting antagonist that may have been in cahoots with Spamton in the past, but not anymore. Whether that be because of a falling out or the lack of communication that Spamton might be ensuing with Chapter 2, or insinuating with Chapter 2. But Tenna is who we really think is behind everything. Now, as you guys can see, I am on the Dan U Tenna site, which if you don't know, during Spamton Sweepstakes, this was like the most hidden page in the entire ARG, called Dan U Tenna, and it's in the perspective of Spamton. So whoever Tenna is, we know Spamton doesn't like Tenna, unlike Mike, who we currently have no idea what relationship Spamton and Mike have currently. First, we gotta pay attention to the fact that the Dreamer household TV is crossed out. And this is, as I said before, in the perspective of Spamton. So he clearly doesn't like the TVs. We know he's against the TV or the Cathode's crew. And then the text reads, that damn boob tube. You're the one that should be having a refreshing night's sleep in the recycling bin. Everything is his fault. Pay. Everyone is going to pay 5 easy payments of $9.99 until they're all in the disposal area begging for my blank. Everyone except, and if you highlight, Mike. So, this page does a lot for us. First of all, I think it's pretty safe to say with this piece of evidence that Mike is most likely a friend that Spamton lost connection with over the course of the story. And Tenna might be the one who made that falling out. All we know is that Tenna is clearly an op and at the top of this Cathode's crew or whatever it might be. Tenna, the name Tenna, is also a play on antenna, which as you can see at the top would be TV related as well. And antennas give off frequencies. Spamton is an email, which is electronic, and electronics often radiate frequencies. So Tenna, it could be a play on like disrupting frequencies, if you get it, if you get what I'm saying. Mic could also be like microphone or something. I don't really know yet. I don't know what mic would have to do with TVs. You don't really speak into your TV with microphones, so I don't know where that's coming from. But the thing is, the thing that's most important is to keep in mind Tenna and antenna and radio waves, frequencies, that whole idea. Now, why am I saying this? Because in Chapter 2, we're going to go and fight Spamton Neo and go put in the loaded disc inside the Neo body. You have to go through Queen's basement. And in that basement, which is most likely a laptop's like hardware, like all the, because we can see fans, we can see computer parts on the walls, we can see wires, you can see everything. Or it could be a server room. Anyways, before you go to the teacup ride, you can see a Spamton-like face with a big fat grin pop up for a moment. And as you can see, that grin is very similar to the grin that the TV has, and that grin we think is Tenna or Mike or whoever the main antagonist of Chapter 3 is going to be. So this face, called Image Friend, is basically, first of all, it's meant to make someone think that it's Spamton. The only difference is that the eyes, the color of the eyes are reversed. We have two instances of Image Friend, actually. I'm lying. The first one's in the basement, and the second one is in another part of the Spamton sweepstakes, where if you touch a chair, it'll like glitch out, and if you touch it enough times, another pair of those eyes that are just Spamton's colors but swapped will jump scare you with a laugh. And we think, again, since Spamton sweepstakes is all about Chapter 3 stuff, this is Mike or Tenna. I think it's very possible that it's Mike, if Mike and Spamton are friends or used to be friends. But I also think it's Tenna, because Tenna could be having their radio waves or something go into the bottom of the Queen's Mansion or something. I don't know. Crack theory. Waves of Tenna's radio. That's your theory, okay? Spamton, when he gets confronted by the waves of Tenna's radio. Cooked. Anyways, one last point I'd like to point out. Spamton's appearance and his race.
Whoa, 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 hey, 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 hey.
Now, I know you're wondering where I'm going with this. Just let me cook. Spamton is an Addison, right? Those pointed nose living ads. Those are the manifestation of ads in the dark world. On TV, obviously, there are ads. In fact, you might get an ad right now. And basically what I'm trying to say is that Addisons, if they fit the dark world of Chapter 3, and my theory is correct about certain darkners being able to be in other specific dark worlds, even if they're not from the same dark world, as long as the theme is similar, they can exist in there without turning to stone. And I think Addisons would be maybe not only able to be in the Chapter 3 Dark World, but I think they might also be native to the Chapter 3 Dark World as well as the Cyber World. And I also say this because I'd like to point to Elnina and El Nino. I think I screwed up their names, but either way, the weather duo for Chapter 3, which we know is they're probably gonna be a boss and antagonist of some sort. They look like Addisons. I know I'm not tripping. They look like Addisons, right? The pointed nose, the humanoid stature, especially the sun one. Him with the glasses looks exactly like Spamton. Not exact. No, I'm lying. Exactly like Spamton. Same hair, same everything, same fit. Toby is too smart for this. He knows what he's doing. I think they might be a branch of the Addison family. Or maybe, like, even the Shadow Men. Or the Shadow Guys, or the Shadow Dudes, or whatever the hell you want to call them. Not exactly, they don't look like Addisons, but maybe in Chapter 3, a lot of the races that we're going to be introduced to are going to look like Addisons. And we might even see some more Addisons. And that'd be like really good world building. There's one more thing I'd like to talk about that I don't think is necessarily that important, at least right now. But during the Spamton Neo Snowgrave fight, Spamton says, when you're crying in a broken home, wishing you let your old pal Spamton killed you. Obviously, crying in broken home is not what Spamton's actually saying. He could be saying like rotting in a dumpster, which would be also foreshadowing like his past with chapter 3 and how he's kicked out of Queen's Mansion. But as we see it, it's crying in a broken home. Broken home, first of all, home, right? Home would be in relation to chapter 3. It takes place, yeah, in a TV world, but it also takes elements from Chris's home. And Chris has a broken home, if you look at it, like a broken family. Azrael's away, and his parents are divorced. And in fact, Chris is adopted, which probably makes it 10 times worse. Chris would probably feel like their home, or what they feel like home, isn't really home anymore, even if it once did. And crying could foreshadow maybe chapter 3, the ending is sad, which I don't think it will be. I don't think it'll be that crazy of a chapter, because Toby has said that it's not going to be a crazy chapter, like in terms of lore and plot development, and character development for the main cast. But this could also be relating to the fact that Chris is more than what they seem, because Chris clearly opened a dark fountain. Chris might be the knight. So we gotta take into account that Chris is kind of a wild card in this story, and this could lead anywhere. Crying in a broken home could lead to like maybe Chris falls into like a very, very, very deep depression, especially in the Snowgrave route. I'm just talking out of my ass here, I'm not gonna lie, but that's basically everything that Spamton, or everything that I could find that Spamton foreshadows. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know. Okay, feel very free to let me know, because I will do a part 2 on this if y'all like this video. Speaking of liking the video, if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment about it, join the Discord. We have a theory and debate channel if you want to theorize and debate about Deltarune. I mean, we also play Black Myth Wukong, we play God of War, we play FNAF. If y'all want to theorize and talk about any of those games, it's there. You should also subscribe if you like any of those games, because we stream as well. We're currently streaming Black Myth Wukong, and it's gas, okay? It is gas. And we will be streaming Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 when it comes out. So if you want to see our reactions the day of Chapter 3 and 4 dropping, y'all gotta see it. We'll also be dropping videos, gameplay videos, whatever. Anyways, if you really enjoyed the video, consider becoming a member, a VIP member. Y'all get early access videos. Y'all get special cool stuff that other people don't get. Anyways, thanks for the support, and I'll see y'all in the next video, Deltarune tomorrow. Also, I swear, if Toby posts anything related to news today or tomorrow, I'ma be so happy but so pissed, because I just made this video to bridge that gap. Y'all could at least let me breathe, please. This video, I can already see it. It's like 27 minutes long, the raw footage. I'm gonna be editing this, John, for hours, okay? Just let me be, bro, please. Ashley, don't let me be, bro. I want Deltarune tomorrow.